yeah, like I said, it is a very long match. No doubt about that so far.
Who would you have been assuming would win this at the time?
I think at the time I would have assumed China, just because of how much they were put into her. And I know she was like a heel at the time, but I felt like they were really pushing her. I'm not sure she was going to win the entire tournament, but I would imagine at this time I would have thought China would be advancing with the whole thing.
And the manager influence is a huge deal as well, I suppose.
Yeah, having Triple H in the corner isn't the worst thing, is it? Wow.
Oh, another clash of heads. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's happened a few times now, and I have to say 98 that we watched had a lot of botches in it. Some stuff going on there, I tell you. Especially when Vader come out and tried to attack Mark Henry,
that one
bounced off him.
That clash of heads looks intentional, but that must have been quite well put together, because China couldn't really see through like the way it had to be set up by Elle, really, didn't it?
Yeah. This is where it's handy to have the manager now.
I thought it was over then.
Yeah. So it's got obviously a lot of time to it. A lot of creative thoughts gone on to into this one.
Oh, the Shawn Michaels now.
Well, there you go. Now he would have been the commissioner around this spot then, Matt. In that role, I guess.
I guess the friendship is is on the rocks a bit then.
Yeah. See Road Dogg pulling out those punches now.
The crowd are into this. They're like, yeah, punch China in the face. We want to see it.
Yeah. So Road Dogg's completely forgot everything that's happened to him.
Yeah.
And now we see Shawn Michaels getting involved now as well. Like a fracas between these two.
Gotta say, I didn't remember a lot of this.
No. Okay, so he's getting Triple H out of the way then.
I guess more than anything, that was China's kind of special move there, but it didn't work.
Another innovative idea coming out. So this has been probably one of the most creative matches I've seen in our retrospective so far. A lot of thought went into this. Reminds me of the Bret Hart Goldberg spot when he wore the chest plate.
Actually, maybe that's where he got the idea from.
Well, nonetheless, it's worked out for Road Dogg, and he makes it through as the final quarter-final match that we had. He makes it through to the next round, where he goes, I think it's 1-on-1 with X-Pac in the next round.
So I guess this time, is the X like a solid formation here, or is it not? Are they like?
I mean, if it is, it's only X-Pac and the Outlaws, I'm guessing, at this point.
I guess it was all like a bit of a problem with Triple H being part of the corporation, isn't it?
Yeah. But nonetheless, Road Dogg going through. As actually I see on the plus, and obviously Mr. Arse and Kane will be the other semi-final match. But without question, I mean, that match, the official number on that, just over 13 minutes on that, as we see The Rock in the role that he's in now. Where are we? 99 now. I'm imagining he possibly is getting over as a face here, Matt, after the corporate stuff, because they would have gone with Triple H at this point. Because this is when if he isn't already, this is when he started to get popular and people started to sing along with his sayings a bit more. It's an incredible feat. But you watch The Rock now, and like these promos and stuff, they are gold when you look back at it. I to what we had there with a guy like this. And I guess even when we watched it back then, we probably didn't realise just what we were in the presence of seeing in terms of wrestling at that time, and guys getting over. But yeah, he was on a completely amazing level, wasn't he, The Rock? Now we are in an awesome entrance. I loved watching the guys of the Brood, the way they came out and stuff, and Gangrel there flocking with them as well.
Yeah, I think was always a great idea at the time. I think it wasn't done too often then either. Come up on an elevator, especially with the flames around.
Yeah, that was very, very cool. Shot there of the acolytes there, as they would have been named.
Yes, in '99 as well. This was like the golden age of factions as well here. We just seen Corporation.
Yeah, they had a hell of a lot.
And now we're seeing the Brood. Factions everywhere.
Yeah, because now there would have been. Now I don't know if we already had the corporate ministry were around, but that would happen at some point. We had the ministry as their own separate thing as well.
And now we see. Who is that? It's Michael Hayes, but it didn't used to be Michael Hayes, did it?
No. Many people would have been like, hang on a minute, I thought it was Doc Hendricks. He's ready to do an interview. So, yeah, Michael Hayes, I mean, he may be, there's a lot of times people have had different names, King of the Ring Retrospective going up. But yes, he was the original manager of the Hardy Boys. He used to come out with his stuff. I remember all that stuff very, very well. Hardy Boys, very young sort of tag team coming up the ranks.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people at this point would not have known what heights these guys would reach.
Absolutely.
But interestingly, I think the Hardy Boys attire works well for them. I'm not too sure their manager should be wearing the same clothes.
Yeah, especially if you ever see Michael Hayes now. I'm not sure he'd be wearing something like that either. Yeah, I don't know what the thinking was there. But it was a great person to have in their corner because, of course, everybody who knows Michael P.S. Hayes from the World Class Championship days will know he was the main antagonist for the Von Erichs, and it was great with the Freebirds. Really innovative. Some of the first guys that ever came out to music and stuff like that. So when you think of innovation, the Hardy Boys definitely did that. But it was a great sort of coach to have. I'm sure that's the role that he took on as well backstage. With these guys. But yeah, like Matt said, I'm not keen on that top he's got on.
I might just go out on a limb here and say, just looking at the people involved in this match, this might be one of the better matches of the night.
Yeah. And again, this would, what are we, 99? So yeah, this would, this was a time where tag teams, both these teams are very, very new. Young, brash people coming up. Edge and Christian have been around a little bit longer, Edge especially. But in terms of new teams coming along, this was these guys were going to be a big point going forward. And I know Road Dogg and Billy Gunn definitely were the team at the time. But these guys were great challengers to have. Either of these teams against those guys, wasn't it? It's like. Not few of competition going on there.
And most of the matches on this night so far, they've been quite slow paced, so it's quite refreshing now to see this.
Yeah, same as faster.
Show.
Been extremely fast this one.
It makes it feel like it's taken up into a whole new gear now.
Yeah.
I think people were waiting for something like this.
So,
I think in about 5 minutes of this match so far as well, I've seen a wider variety of moves than all the other matches combined.
Yeah. Gangrel at this point would be. See, this is where Edge and Christian started to surpass Gangrel in terms of popularity and as a duo tag team, as opposed to the three. But many people forget Gangrel was the centerpiece of this trio at one point. He was the thing that everybody, wanted to see. These guys definitely have such a fast pace. I mean, a lot of the moves you would have seen here as well were pretty much. I mean, a lot of fans wouldn't have seen those kind of moves either, or at least not for a long time.
And especially moves like we just saw 2 spears that were pretty ineffectual.
Yeah.
Oh, and a spear from Poetry in Motion. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
Christian was so good at being a high flyer at this time as well. I mean, like, he didn't really have to bust out those moves quite so often, but he was really good when he did.
Yeah.
Oh, blood in the face.
Yeah, that was trademark as well. That was such a cool thing. I used to love that though back in the day, when they used to do the blood baths and stuff. The lights would go, be like the Whites, I guess, but just a much more sort of, I doubt they'd be able to get away with that. But it's a shame really, because the Whites look like Mickey Mouse compared to the Brood in some respects, with the whole bloodbath stuff.
So I think I really enjoyed that match just now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was good. Did enjoy it. Hardy Boys defeating the Brood of Edge and Christian, as it was back then. So we're going on to more things. So Matt, I mean, overall, this has been very much. I mean, I know we just watched the tag team match, but it's very much heavy King of the Ring here. Like they seem like they've gone back to basics with.
Yeah, it was surprising actually, because I thought it was going the other direction from the way the last one was.
Yeah, the last one had very. I mean, we had still 2 matches to go by the time they'd finished the finals of the '98 one. So, and we'd only seen 2 semi-final matches, and they weren't really showcased as the best. The matches you need to watch. There was so much other stuff going on, but we had the Hell in a Cell, and we had Steve Austin and Kane. It was very much an afterthought. Just other than the fact the pay-per-view was King of the Ring, but that's what made me think this one was going to be similar. But obviously, somebody somewhere had a rethink and thought it would be still a good cause to have somebody breaking out of this and show the dramatic King of the Rings how they used to be, which is what we used to get, of course. Vince McMahon. Yeah, this is Vinny coming out here.
It would be easy just to sit back and just say, "Oh, I'm the boss," I'm this. But he put a lot of work in at the gym here to get that physique for a man of his age.
Yeah. I think people always forget things like that. Like you look at someone like Ted Turner on the other side of things. He never bothered to show up, but he had the money. But Vince by this time had the money. They were doing very well, and he didn't need to get involved as much as he did. Especially, even announcing was enough. But he was very hands-on, Vince McMahon. I mean, as far as a boss, he somebody that wants to sort of set an example. It's great to have somebody like him there, because there isn't much that Vince wouldn't do that he'd ask people to do. I mean, I always remember the story of Shawn Michaels at '96 coming down the rafters. And Vince said, "Well, I'll do it first. I'll show you how it's done," which he did, and then that sort of enticed Michaels to be okay about it. So, he's one of those guys that's very, doesn't seem to care. But then obviously, Son takes up that mantle somewhat as well in more recent times. If you've watched him, so yeah, Vince McMahon certainly never sits on his money, does he? In stuff like that, does like to be involved with the product for sure. Obviously, he would, and like I said, he was very heavily involved with Austin and so many other guys. But it's such a dream rivalry between those 2 guys back then. Such a dream kind of thing happening.
So I'm guessing Vince is here for a fight then.
It seems that way. I was trying to work out what the hell he's going to try and do here. So many random moments like this. It just seems like you just